Live, local, now. This is WIS News 10.
Take a look at the surveillance video from WIS. The exact moment that huge tree on the corner of Bull and Gervais came crashing down just a short time ago. Literally, the strong storms, the wind, the rain uprooted that tree. It landed on top of a car that had someone inside.
We were bringing you severe weather coverage at the time that tree came down. Thankfully, the person inside that truck is okay. We were able to talk with him just moments after that terrifying incident, and we are very thankful that he was not hurt. Again, this video from the scene there, very scary. Take a listen.
This is a miracle. God was with me when I was in that car, in that truck.
And again, very fortunate that he was not hurt. And again, the scene there right after the street completely blocked down. That's Bull Street and Gervais. Police and fire crews arrived. We're getting multiple reports of similar damage all across the area tonight, Judy.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that tree go down. People who were in the area rushed to help, as did people inside of our newsroom. These severe thunderstorms bringing heavy winds and all of this rain to the Midlands today. This is a tree that went down over on Clark Street where the Columbia Fire Department responded just a short time ago. That is in the 2200 block. We are told no one was home at the time, but clearly quite a scene to take in once they make it home this evening.
We also have a live look at Assembly Street right now, completely blocked south of Calhoun. And you can see a crew there just trying to remove that tree from the area as that massive tree fell there as well. No injuries to report there, but you can see just the damage, the sheer amount of damage because of the high winds that blew through here. Just about 4:30 is when this storm came through, and it snapped that tree, as you can see, right there at the trunk. So they're trying to remove it right now as we speak. We continue our team coverage tonight of these severe storms and damage in the area.
Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Dominus Brown to tell us more about the first alert forecast. Chief, you gave us a heads up with the first alert day. Tell us what we're seeing on radar right now.
Well, Judy and Greg, we're still seeing active weather across the Midlands of South Carolina. Most of the weather, though, out of Columbia has now pushed to the east and southeast, but you will notice a lot of intense lightning through areas in Calhoun County, Orangeburg County, and we still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of the area. Now, parts of the area have since seen these warnings expire. This one here that included areas in Lexington County has since expired, but you'll see this one flashing there. This is until 6:45 for areas, and you'll see it Bamberg County, Calhoun, Clarendon, Orangeburg County, and Sumter County. Looking a little closer to Orangeburg, it's almost like a 1-2 punch because we've already had some strong storms to move through, and now we're still seeing some of this weather moving through the area. And so you'll see it right through Neches Highway. That's 33, 21, along 26. And so this is going to be some intense rainfall right over areas in downtown Orangeburg. That's under the gun with some heavy rain. And it doesn't take much rain for parts of the city to see some localized flooding. So if you need to head out and about, just wait a little longer before this storm can kind of roll on through, and then you can get out and do some of your activities. But again, we have some gusty winds with some of this rainfall that's moving through, some of these storms moving through. And so we could still see some power lines down, some trees to go down, limbs, and that could cause some power outages. You'll notice some intense rainfall over areas in Barnwell and Bamberg counties. That's headed towards Bamberg itself pretty soon, and that will continue rolling mainly to the east and southeast towards areas in Bowman. So checking out this storm near Vance, if it holds together, which most likely it will, 6:13 we'll start seeing some rough weather headed towards you. How about Holly Hill at 6:25 in Lake Moultrie area, 6:44 as it continues making its way toward the low country. Also watching some rainfall intense in pockets near Somerton, just north of Manning. Lighter rainfall for areas in Maysville, also for areas in Sumter. But again, you'll notice that in very intense rain that's over areas near Vance. Showing you some of the lightning right now. You'll see some of this moving away from us. Also, this very strong line. All this lightning pretty much shows you how strong and intense the lightning can really be. But I want to show you what's happening behind this. Not a ton of wet weather behind us. You'll notice some showers over the mountains. Probably won't make it into our viewing area, but you'll notice some clear conditions over areas in Georgia and the upstate. state. So that's great news for us. So I know we've had some folks on Twitter asking whether or not we'll have more showers and storms approaching the Midlands, especially for Columbia. Not right now, but we'll continue to keep an eye out on the radar as we go through the afternoon. I also want to show you just again look at some of the lightning strikes here just in this window. Almost 500 lightning strikes, about 460 there that we're seeing just in this window of First Alert radar. Now we need to talk about some of the storm reports that we haven't shown you on video or even by picture. With more on that, here's meteorologist Von Gaskin.
That's right. We are still looking at the intense heavy rain falling in several spots, but let's talk about the aftermath of some of this. This is a look at all of the storm reports that we've had. Several reports have been have come in. A lot of these come in from South Carolina Highway Patrol. So let's take you into just a few of them. The first batch coming in from Lexington County, reports of trees down near the intersection of Beach Creek Road and Old Cherokee Road. And then we have another one, and this one is actually going to be closer into Lexington County, where a tree was uprooted and there are down power lines on Sunset Boulevard, and the spotter is actually reporting that. And also that happened about 4:20 in Columbia. Social media reports, of course, of a large tree limb being down on a car at Providence Hospital in Richland County. And then, of course, social media also reporting the tree being uprooted at Bull and Gervais Street, which is right outside of our studios. And that's the one that we have been talking about here on air for a good bit. South Carolina Highway Patrol is reporting that at mile marker at I-20 at mile marker 158 westbound, this is going to be I-20 westbound, there is thunderstorm wind damage, and this is all the way down over near areas near Bowman. This is actually going to be 26 where that happened. So we have several reports out there. There is a chance that we'll have more coming in as intense heavy rain continues to fall in several of our counties. We still need to watch out for some storms that are intense out there right now. We will, of course, continue to keep you updated on this.
All right, Vaughn, thank you very much. And we did just hear from Forest Acres Police Chief Gene Seeley. He tells us that lights are currently out at the following intersections: Forest Drive at Clemson Avenue, Forest Drive at Falcon Drive, and Forest Drive at Atascadero. Also earlier, the Columbia Fire Department tweeted out that Columbia police officers are manning traffic at the Cross Hill Roads area that is at kind of Divine and Fort Jackson Boulevard in that area, because lights are out there as well.
There may be other trees down in the area as you're driving along some rural roads. Please use caution if you are in any of those areas as we continue our severe weather coverage. We're also going to head back outside for a live report from our Caroline Hecker.
She is on Bull Street, literally right in front of WIS TV, right outside of our studio doors, where a huge tree is blocking that street.
And Caroline, you just spoke with the man who was inside that car underneath that tree. What did he tell you?
That's exactly right, Greg. And if you look over here, his truck, believe it or not, is in there, but you can't tell because this brush is so thick. And the space that I was standing in is really only clear because there was a car parked in that metered space, and some of those people helped with a chainsaw to clear some of these smaller branches to help get this gentleman out. And as you can see, you continue to walk across Bull Street and you still can't see his truck, but the bed of his truck is right here. You have to walk all the way over to the other side to be able to get a glimpse of his black pickup truck, which is obviously right here. We did talk to him. Amazingly, despite looking at this, he came out completely unscathed. He said he came up here like he does every day on his way home from work. He stopped at the red light at Bull and Gervais. There was a car in front of him, and he says before he knew it, it got really, really windy and that tree started to fall. He was on the phone with his wife. He tried to stay calm so as to not worry her. And he said he sat in the driver's seat for 5 or 10 minutes because he couldn't get the door open. And that's when some good Samaritans came out. They had a saw and they actually had to force him to crawl out the back cab window. They could not get the driver's side door or the passenger side door open. He actually just left the scene about 5 minutes ago with his wife in hand. I'm sure she was giving him a ride home. So he is well. He refused medical treatment at the scene. But I want to turn around because when you look down Bull towards Senate Street, CPD has it completely blocked off because, again, we are waiting for city crews to come out here to clear this out of the street, and then they will obviously be towing that gentleman's car. But Greg, he says it was an act of God. He is so thankful to be alive. We are so glad that he was okay. We saw him got pulled out. He was clearly shaken up, even when we spoke to him 15 or 20 minutes after the fact, but he is okay. And he says he never imagined that massive tree on that corner that he passes by every day on his way home from work would ever fall, but that happened to be the position he was in. And he thanks everybody that quickly, even out of our studios, came running when they heard that loud boom out the window. So he is safe at home tonight, resting. As for the other cars that were parked here in the metered spots on Bull Street, they are okay. Their cars did suffer some damage. I saw some cracked windshields, but all in all, guys, everyone is okay despite this monstrosity of a tree falling on Bull Street.
All right, Caroline, thank you so much. We want to check in now with our Miranda Parnell. She was out in the Garners Ferry Road area. Miranda, I know there was a tree down there as well. Crews are working as quickly as they can to clear these scenes.
That's right, Judy. We're heading from another story coming down Leesburg Road. Traffic started to back up. This was just after a little bit of rainfall. And as we came up to the crossroads, we could see that a tree was down in the road. So as we pulled over to start getting some footage of that to let our viewers know that there were going to be slowdowns in the area, there was a man who was coming up. He owns K&J Landscaping. He had his equipment in tow. He hops right out of his truck and starts to dismember and chop up this tree back here so that the roadway could get cleared. Now, Columbia Police Department was already out here trying to direct traffic and help motorists get where they're going safely and cautiously. But this gentleman hopped right out. No one called him. He was just waiting in traffic, saw what was happening, and sprung into action. We'll hear more from him at 7 on WIS, and we'll give you the latest updates out here. But for now, traffic is free flowing. In Richland County, Miranda Parnell, WIS News 10.
Miranda, thank you. Similar scenes playing out across the Midlands. We head to Assembly Street in Columbia. A tree down there. We showed you the picture of it earlier.
Our Jason Raven has made his way to that scene to give us an update on how they're progressing with clearing that area. Jason?
Hey, well, Greg and Judy, this is actually Assembly Street, southbound lanes. You wouldn't normally be able to do this at this moment, standing in the middle of the road. We'll show you why people aren't driving down this way. A tree has been knocked down onto this road. Right now, there is a City of Columbia crew here working to clear this out. I spoke to a police officer who's blocking these lanes, and he says that this might take a few hours to get cleared up, and as you can see, just a ton of debris in the roadway. And if we come around the truck over on this side, we'll show you the trunk of the tree. You can just see how this was just knocked on over. Whether it was the wind, we're not too sure yet, but it's not a very similar to scene to what we were seeing on Bull Street right out of our studios. Luckily, we know right now at the moment that there aren't any reported injuries with this certain incident here on Assembly, just close to Calhoun Street. This is actually right by the Grand South Bank on Assembly Street. But like I've said, no reported injuries. There didn't appear to be anybody in the roadways when this happened. But definitely keep this in mind if you're coming to downtown Columbia. This part of Assembly Street, southbound lanes, will be closed for the next few hours. Live in downtown Columbia, Jason Raven, WIS News 10.
All right, Jason, thanks. And obviously with down trees also come down power lines. You can take a look at this outage map right now. This is poweroutage.us. It shows right now 91,000 power outages here in the state of South Carolina. That number has risen even in the past half hour after these storms blew through. You can go county by county here, an interactive map that shows you just how many outages are in your county. As you take a look, the worst of it right now in Kershaw, and they base that off of the percentage of customers that are out of power. Right now, over 5,000 customers without power in Kershaw County. But as you go back to that map, if you take a look down here, it's getting a little bit better in terms of power being restored percentage-wise in Richland County. Still, though, 11,000 customers without power. Another nice thing that this website does is it gives you a breakdown of each of the power companies, showing how many customers are being tracked, how many customers are being out. So a nice tool to go to. Again, this is poweroutage.us to take a look at power outages in your area. Again, here in South Carolina, 91,000 customers without power after these storms blew through. Judy, let's send it back to you.
All right, Greg, and just getting a text from Midlands Technical College saying that due to power outages that Greg was just mentioning, and also trees being down, classes at the Beltline campus have been canceled for this evening. Chief Meteorologist Demetrius Brown will have another look at your first alert forecast. Keep it tuned to WIS News 10 for the latest on today's severe weather. We want to show you some of the pictures that we're getting in from viewers all around the area of the damage from these severe storms today, coming into us really from all over the Midlands, from Leesburg Road to West Columbia, Irmo, and more.
You can see just the power of the storms as they rolled through earlier today, in many cases causing some damage to property and also causing trees to fall down into roadways. If you're able to safely send any photo, you can do it on the WIS Facebook page. Make sure that you're in a safe spot. Make sure any weather has passed before you go ahead and send us those pictures.
Let's get the latest on our First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Demenis Brown.
Judy, Greg, this has been an active day here in the Weather Center on this First Alert day, and let me show you what's happening right now on First Alert radar.
All right, Chief, we're getting some breaking news into the WIS newsroom right now. The Richland County coroner has confirmed now a death from a tree that fell on a person on Columbia Avenue.
This is in the Earlwood neighborhood. Working to get some more information on that. But again, a tree fell and we now have a reported death as a result of that tree falling. We've been talking pretty much all afternoon long just about the danger of severe weather like this. When you have falling trees, when you have severe weather, these types of things can happen. But again, we are looking for some more information on this tree that fell in that area. The Richland County coroner confirming that this happened in the Earlwood neighborhood a short time ago.
Continuing live team coverage of what are now deadly storms that have moved through the area here in the Midlands this afternoon. You were looking at an aerial view from the WIS Skycam of a huge tree that came crashing down a little more than an hour and a half ago right in front of the WIS studios. In fact, it's right outside of our studio doors. It is blocking that stretch of Bull Street, which is right near the intersection of Bull and Gervais. A
tree down here and trees down all over the Midlands right now after this severe weather came through our area. Plenty more coverage right here on your News at 6.
In case you missed it earlier, another look at incredible surveillance video of a tree that came crashing down right in front of the WIS studio. Yeah, you could see it happen just after 4:30. The person inside of that car underneath that tree was able to get out with no injuries, incredibly, and not much more damage besides the damage to those vehicles. Caroline Hecker has been on the scene all afternoon. And Caroline, our crew's making any progress cleaning up that mess?
They really aren't, Greg. We haven't seen anybody from the city out here quite yet. The Columbia police remain here, and there's actually a wrecker that has pulled up and is parked kind of in the left-hand turn lane on Gervais, but there's no way they're going to be able to get to that gentleman's truck until some of these branches are cleared. We showed you how tall and how big these roots are. The hole that I'm standing in is about 2 feet deep, and you're right, we talked to that gentleman who just happened to be stopped at this Gervais red light when this tree came crashing down, but he is okay. He refused EMS when they got here, and he told me that while he's shooken up, he is just happy to be alive, guys. All right, our Caroline Hecker reporting live right outside the WIS studios.
And plenty more coverage after this.
Just into the WIS newsroom a short time ago, the Richland County coroner now confirming at least one death. It was from a tree that fell on a person on Columbia Avenue. So again, this is a deadly line of storms. We found out just a short time ago that this is the first fatality tied to these storms, and of course we'll have more information just as soon as we find out. And again, this is a similar scene playing out all over the area as trees have fallen not only in other neighborhoods but also right here outside the WIS studio. But we also want to tell you about Forest Acres Police. They say that the 3 intersections where the lights were out are now working again. All of those intersections in Forest Acres should be up and running. Chief, we want to check back in with you. Yeah. This can happen so quickly. Very quickly. Such strong storms. Strong gusty winds still going through areas in Fairfield, or actually areas in Caroline County, Orangeburg County, Bamberg, Barnwell. Keep an eye on it. Severe thunderstorm watch until 6:45. A warning. All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back at 7.